Welcome to Weekly Digest, where we highlight the work of ministers of government as they push the administration's development agenda. Picking up from where we left off last week. Government is spending billions of dollars to cushion the effects of unprecedented flooding across the country. However, there is a long-term plan to eventually reduce flooding nationwide. This was disclosed by Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh.
The technical work has already begun to identify optimal location, to identify the channels that will be connected to it, to design, to determine the optimal alignment, and to design the physical structure, do the engineering design. That work has already started, so it is already ongoing.
Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, Onij Walran, on Monday toured the Regas building on Waterloo Street, where she interacted with the operations director and several clients utilizing the building. Regas, which operates globally, providing serviced office space and workspaces, has been operating in Guyana for more than a year. Minister Walran is optimistic that the building will be overrun with clients because of new investment opportunities in Guyana.
Guyana is open for business, as we always say, and this is just one of the examples of the facilities that are going to be available to investors as they come and they seek to do business here in Guyana. This is a office is ready-made. This is it's quite an important solution, especially to start-up businesses, people who are coming to first and foremost to check and see what to do their fact-finding missions as investors. They have a temporary space that they can come in that's professional, that is secure, and this is just one. This is an exciting solution to many of our investors that are coming in.
Regas has more than 3,000 business centers in 1,000 cities across 110 countries. As government has already fulfilled its promise of reinstating community support officers, plans are in train to have more appointed in various villages. Minister of Amerindian Affairs Pauline Sukai says these youths will be trained to develop their villages.
There are many other villages that are asking for additional CSOs beyond the limit or beyond the number which we have asked them to submit. And that is something we are considering to pursue in the new year in 2022 budgetary proposals.
So far, over $720 million has been spent to train Amerindian youths in the information and communications technology sector, solar panel installation and maintenance and driving, with another 75 trained in computer literacy. Guyana has received 146,250 doses of the U.S.-made Pfizer vaccine from the United States government for the immunization of children 12 to 17 years old. The vaccines arrived on board a FedEx Express flight at the Chedi Jagan International Airport Tuesday afternoon. Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, who was on hand to receive the shipment at the airport, relayed the gratitude of President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali to the U.S. government, calling the donation a life-saving measure.
While we were able to work with our adult population, what was missing was really working with our children. With the evolution of the virus, we have seen that the new variant, which is now called the Delta variant, has been very detrimental to children. And while with the other variants, we have seen in Guyana since this pandemic started here on the 11th of March 2020 and to the present time, we have had more than 4,000 children, male and female, under the ages of 18, who were infected with the coronavirus.
Minister Anthony reiterated that the vaccines came at a crucial time. Minister of Education Priya Manikchan was also at the airport and expressed gratitude to the government and people of the United States. Meanwhile, with regards to the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine which arrived in the country recently, Minister Anthony said those will be used mainly in hinterland regions as reaching those remote areas have been difficult.
So we are going to send those vaccines out to those hard-to-reach communities across the hinterland, and I think that's going to help us to reach a lot of people, to be able to expand the coverage. And one of the challenges has been when we give a first dose in one of these remote communities, getting back into the community, finding the people, because sometimes people move. It is a challenge.
Women and girls of Region 2 are being encouraged to take advantage of opportunities available to them through the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security's WIN program. Minister Dr. Vindhya Prasad launched the program in the region Wednesday morning.
We're investing in you because I believe that once you can move from that state of dependence and become independent and to find confidence in yourself, there is no limit to what you can accomplish. And when we invest in you, the fact that you're here, you already knew what the I was for because you're investing in yourself. You're investing in yourself because I know that you've all signed on for programs and free programs at that are accessible to all women across this country.
The distribution of government's flood relief grant, which began last week, will benefit some 52,000 farmers countrywide. Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustafa on Wednesday said the program will assist the farmers to get back to cultivation as quickly as possible.
This assessment was conducted by the various agencies, GLDA, NARI, Ghana Rice Development Board. Those three agencies were responsible. We have hundreds of extension officers across the country. They went to various locations and they generated a list of those persons who were affected severely and who lost crops. After that, we had various other interest groups went through the list together with the extension officers, and then we had these volunteers, young volunteers, that went and verified the list. And after all those activities were done, the president, we arrived at a total of 52,000 households.
Minister Mustafa also disclosed that government will embark on building 3 8-door outfall canals to mitigate flooding in regions 3, 5, and 6. The Agriculture Minister told DPI it is important to have these canals constructed given the current drainage capacity. Minister within the Ministry of Public Works, Deodat Indar, says maintenance of sea defences is important to ensure the population is protected against overtopping. Minister Indar made the statement during his visit to Anna Katrina, Iflot and Zilot, Region 3, where the government has awarded contracts for the sea defence to be strengthened.
The sea defense is critical to making sure that the severity of floods that we have and future floods, the sea defense is critical to that. So this particular area here, right, actually all these houses here were flooded out. We are happy with the work that we see that was completed here.
Over 150 persons in Linden, Region 10, are now employed as government commenced the construction of 20 elevated homes in Amelia's ward. Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell and Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Hugh Todd visited the town on Wednesday to check on the progress of the ongoing works.
We also have, as part of our community enhancement project, working with small groups in communities, and that is, for example, the block making. So you will find us in just like what you saw in Georgetown, being engaged here. So we'll be working with small groups for the making of the blocks to be supplied for our housing program. And so this is the initial phase. For example, Christianburg and the other communities in this vicinity will be engaged for that supplying of the blocks.
The PPPC government, in its manifesto, made a commitment to provide affordable housing for all and to create 50,000 jobs for Guyanese. In just 1 year in office, this is already being fulfilled. The Support for the Criminal Justice System, SCJS program, funded by the Inter-American Development Bank and spearheaded by the Ministry of Legal Affairs, has made substantial progress in addressing the overcrowding in prisons. This has been pointed out by project manager Indira Nanjit when she gave a detailed appraisal of the program at a high-level review at the Artichon Conference Center on Wednesday. The program, which supports probation, is being looked at as an alternative to imprisonment. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Senior Counsel Mohamed Anil Nandlal, who is the SCJS program sponsor, highlighted that law reform is also critical to the SCJS program.
Law reform must capture the aspirations of the people, of the society, the dynamism of the society. Law reform must capture that and make that part of the laws so that our laws can continue to have a realistic connection with the aspirations of our people, or else our legal system will become obsolete and our people's vision will be far ahead.
Dr. Frank Anthony is warning unvaccinated persons caught with forged COVID-19 vaccination cards that they will face the full force of the law. The minister made this statement during Wednesday's COVID-19 update.
If you steal one of those cards, then you can be charged for larceny, and there are specific penalties for that, jail terms and, of course, fines and so forth. And then if you change the information that is on the card, that is considered to be forgery. So we can't tolerate this kind of behavior, forgery and stealing of cards and so forth. They'll be dealt with by the police and the courts.
The Ministry of Education, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, has launched government's COVID-19 immunization campaign for children ages 12 to 17. Minister Manik Chand said while the government is committed to giving the support needed for the safe reopening of schools, having children vaccinated now goes beyond ensuring children are educated.
We're no longer talking, my friends, about getting past the virus to come into schools. We're talking about getting past the virus so that you can live. That is where we're at now. We're not talking about mundane things like whether we can educate you and whether we can give you the opportunity to thrive in the beautiful new Guyana that is about to come here. We're talking about whether you and your children could continue to live. And when you're talking about positions like that, everybody is going to be required to be responsible and humane.
Similarly, Dr. Anthony is encouraging parents to protect their children and to safeguard their future since science has proven that vaccines are working and have saved millions of lives.
This is not the time for us to hesitate. This is not the time for us to debate. The science is very clear that vaccines work.
The Ministry of Agriculture has begun engagements with the U.S. Economic Affairs Department to address challenges in the local fishing industry. Minister Mustafa said Guyana will be working closely with the U.S. in various areas to ensure that the fishing industry is sustained.
We will be working very closely with them to train our staff, to ensure that our staff is trained so that we can advise and train our fisher folks in Guyana.
Since taking office, the PPPC government has undertaken several initiatives to promote and safeguard Guyana's fishing resources. An assessment of several cricket grounds around Region 4 was conducted to support Guyana's bid to host the ICC Youth World Cup in 2022. The assessment was undertaken by Acting Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport Kwame McCoy and a team of officials. The grounds visited were the Demerara Cricket Club, Georgetown Cricket Club, Everest Cricket Club, and the Le Bon Intention Community Centre grounds.
The team here came out this afternoon to make our own assessment and to get an idea as to what the possibilities are for the usage of any of these facilities and which might be in most ready shape, notwithstanding minor works in some instances to be able to get it to this fit and proper category, more or less.
A team from the International Cricket Council is slated to be in Guyana this week to undertake their assessment on the readiness of the grounds. The Guyana Forestry Commission, in collaboration with the British High Commission on Thursday, prepared 500 food and sanitation hampers for distribution in Amerindian villages that were severely affected by nationwide flooding. At a ceremony at GFC's office in Georgetown, Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat noted the significance of the hamper distribution.
I'm sure it will go a long way in bringing relief to our brothers and sisters in the hinterland regions, in the logging area especially, It will add to the efforts that the government of Guyana and the private sector have been making over the last couple of months, since we were braced with not only the flooding situation, but also the global pandemic.
The 500 hampers will be distributed to Amerindian villages in regions 2, 3, 9, and 10 in the coming week. The government on Friday distributed 1,000 house lots at Plantation La Reconnaissance, East Coast, Demerara. This is the second Dream Realized Housing Initiative rolled out for the year. Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell, who spearheaded the program, said the government is on track to allocating 50,000 house lots in 5 years.
We are on track in keeping to our commitment of 50,000 over this first 5 years, and is expected by the end of 2021, from now to the end of the year, we are targeting another 7,000 allocations.
Meanwhile, Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, Susan Rodriguez, says the government will ensure there is equitable distribution of lands.
We have to deal with the modernization of Guyana. We have to ensure that all Guyanese, regardless of your geographical location, your race, your political affiliation, and your income, regardless of all of that, we have to help all Guyanese move forward. We have to do it equitably, and we have to do it at the same speed of development so that nobody is left out of the growth.
On Friday, 135 persons from Region 5 successfully graduated from several training programs offered by the Board of Industrial Training, BIT. The graduates between the ages of 16 to 45 completed courses in commercial food preparation, welding, garment construction, and agro-processing, among others. Minister of Labour, Joseph Hamilton, speaking at the graduation ceremony, noted that education is indeed the only key to success and advised the graduates to continue on this path.
What is responsible for the development of all these communities is what was drilled in us, that there was only one way you can get out of poverty, that is via education. It is still relevant in 2021. What will take you out of the place you're at is education, education, education.
Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony says approximately 213 adolescents took the Pfizer vaccine on Thursday during the launch of government's COVID-19 immunization campaign for children ages 12 to 17 years old.
A lot of people are interested in getting their children vaccinated so that they can go back to school. We were extremely pleased by that type of response, and I think we are going to continue to see that type of response as we move the vaccination program around the country.
The Ministry of Education has announced that schools will be reopened to face-to-face engagement on September 6. Minister Manik Chan says the teaching that was lost over the last year will have a lasting impact on students.
The longer we stay out of school, the more likely we are to suffer from severe learning loss and premature school leaving. Severe learning loss simply means, it's a very brief explanation for a very severe thing. And what it means is that there is severe loss of learning that children had acquired. Children who knew certain concepts will forget them. Children who had acquired certain skills will lose those skills. And the longer we stay out of school, the more exacerbated that will become.
Minister Manik Chan says the Ministry of Health has mandated that all COVID-19 preventative measures, such as mask wearing, social distancing, and hand washing, are to be observed. Some schools will be reopened on a rotational basis to allow for adherence to the COVID-19 guidelines. Details on the reopening of individual schools will be posted on the Ministry of Education's website. Meanwhile, Minister Manik Chan says a consolidated curriculum will be utilized by teachers when schools reopen.
Studies across the world by various internationally renowned bodies, UNICEF, UNESCO, the World Bank, individual countries are saying very clearly to us, the longer we stay out of school, the more likely we are to suffer from severe learning loss and premature school leaving. Reopening will look differently for different schools at different levels. It may look different even for the same level.
That's it for this edition of Weekly Digest. For these and other government-related information, do log on to our website, dpi.gov.gy, and our social media platforms as well. Goodbye.